if you claim that you don't want to see David Benavidez fight Caleb Plant, you are a liar. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Yo, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, David Benavidez just defeated Caleb Plant, and for what it's worth, my take, it is the fight to beat. The year is still young. There's many fights that have been announced. There's other fights and people like Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder. We don't know who he's going to fight. Errol Spence, we don't know for a fact who he's going to fight. So, you know, there could be other great fights. But for what it's worth right now, for me, the fight is the fight to beat, and that's Benavidez Plant. Very fun, strategic fight. The highs, the lows, the drama. It was really a fight of halves. I did a Boxingego watch party on my birthday. Shout out to everybody who sent love, tapped in with me on my birthday. A lot of love in the PayPal, Zelle, the Cash App. And it was just a great night, definitely a memorable night. And I'm glad that I watched. Now, as I said in the beginning of this video, if you don't want to see Canelo versus David Benavidez and you're calling yourself a boxing fan, masquerading as a boxing fan, I call cap. This is the fight to make in all of boxing. Benavidez definitely solidified himself. Even Caleb Plant gave him his props and they kind of squashed the beef. And he said he was the better man on the night. And this is after, and the reason why it was Fight of the Year is because, or at least the Fight of the Year nominee, is because Caleb Plant was doing his thing. So this was no easy task. Benavidez was having a difficult time tracking down Caleb Plant and trying to make it his fight. Caleb Plant was doing a lot of good things, good angles, good lateral movement, beautiful, and I mean beautiful feints. The problem is Benavidez somehow, some way is a guy who's not getting discouraged, you know, or he could be discouraged in spot, but it's not stopping him from the mission at hand. So he's, you know, an Antonio Margarito type of mentality of sorts, where he's just relentless like the Terminator, and he's coming with the pressure. And you could tell he wanted to corner Caleb Plant and put his hands on him, put his paws on him, and he trapped Caleb to points where it looked like, you know, Caleb could get stopped in the next round or next sequence. And, you know, Caleb Plant, true warrior. I hope we can change the culture of boxing where a loss doesn't define a fighter when it's fought like the Caleb Plants and Sean Porters, people who have lost but given you effort. You know, I can understand if people are upset or angry with losses where the guy quits and things like that, but it wasn't even that type of fight. It was a great fight. So back to the subject at hand. Benavidez, he's proven, he has a solidified name, a mutual name, and I see the energy and the Canelo Chupapi Muñeños, the Canelo Cinnabons, they are in full distrust mode. And the great Ego Stradamus forecasted this. I told you there were a lot of fans, Canelo fans, that were hoping and praying that Caleb Plant would win, and they were actually pro Caleb Plant. And to me, those are fake fans. And let me explain. The Canelo fans that were rooting for Caleb Plant are fake fans of boxing. And a lot of them are race fans, things like that. Here's why. When Canelo was fighting Caleb Plant, some of these same Canelo man fans, the Cinnabons, absolutely hated Caleb Plant. They said, oh, that's why Canelo mushed your face and cut your cheek with your glasses, and you're weak, and you call Canelo a MFer. And these are the same fans that detested Caleb Plant and didn't like him at all. Now, all of a sudden, after Canelo, quote unquote, conquers him or beats him, then they're all of a sudden Caleb Plant fans when he's going against David Benavidez. But I told you, the great Ego Stradamus strikes again. The reason being is David Benavidez is a massive threat. He's young, he's hungry. Him and his dad are outspoken, and they've been calling out Canelo, especially his dad. His dad has been more cutthroat with the call outs. David Benavidez, more gentleman. Like, I respect Canelo, what he's done, but he got to fight me and give me a shot. His dad is like, Canelo don't want no parts of my son, and it's my son's time, and he's more blunt and straightforward. And with this newfound pressure, it's put a lot of pressure on Canelo Alvarez to do something. You know, in the words of the great 50 Cent, something special, man. You gotta do something, baby. You gotta do something, baby. And that's what it is. You got to do something, baby. David Benavidez showed his mettle. He showed he's a warrior. He showed he's durable. He showed he can figure out a boxer and a puzzle. And now the Canelo man fans are scared. They're truly terrified and they are truly afraid to see the Canelo fight. Now, the sad thing is you have the boxing politics, people like the WBA, who are even aiding Canelo and trying to allow Canelo to duck the smoke. There's great fights for Canelo, like Demetrius Andrade. He could have fought him. He could have fought Jamal Charlo. I'm talking about way back when he was at 154 pounds. He could have fought him at 160. And now he could fight him at 168. Still hasn't fought those guys. Then you have newcomers who kind of came into the picture a little bit later that weren't really part of the 54 conversation. Guys like David Benavidez and more recently David Morrell Jr. Two Davids at 168. Canelo is undisputed at 168. Who is Canelo fighting? Oh yeah, John Ryder, a guy with 5 losses who really should have lost to Danny Jacobs in one of his more recent fights, which was a hometown fight, right? So the walls are closing in, as I always say, on Canelo Alvarez. All that meat edish is done. You know, you got new blood in the division, and Canelo, we'll see what he decides. I don't really have much faith that Canelo will decide what's right for the fans because he hasn't really shown that propensity to do that. He kind of moves how he moves, and DAZN is foolish enough to pay him for the Yildirim's and the Fieldings and the John Ryders of the world, a bunch of Caucasian British fighters and Eastern European fighters. So I think he's going to take advantage of that program as long as he can. And then you also have people like the WBA who are trying to create new obstacles that also help keep Canelo Alvarez in Witsec, the witness protection program. So Canelo's in Witsec. The WBA just announced the day of Benavidez plant. They didn't even wait for a day to elapse. They came out and said, oh, our dream is to make David Benavidez versus David Morrell. David Morrell, great fighter. I love it. Benavidez, Morrell, a good fight. But in terms of branded fighters, Canelo is a certified brand, of course. He's been on pay-per-view. He's done over $1 million. He fought Floyd Mayweather. And now Benavidez just punched his ticket with the Canelo Plant fight. Or excuse me, the Caleb Plant fight. And he has his first pay-per-view. We don't know what the numbers are as of me recording this video, but it looked like an electric audience. The card was stellar from top to bottom. It was star-studded. You had Gervonta Davis and Floyd Mayweather and Deontay Wilder, DeMarcus Cousins, Rashidi Ellis, Ugas, Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, a ton of celebrities in the building. And now that's the fight people want to see, which is Canelo versus Benavidez. And it's funny because the Canelo man fans, they keep saying, oh, Benavidez is flawed. Why don't you talk about John Ryder's flaws? That's why I said at the beginning of this video, if you don't want to see Canelo Benavidez and you're pretending to be a boxing fan, you're not a boxing fan. You're a fan of Canelo Alvarez and you're trying to protect him in the Witsec program. Because there's no way on God's green earth that you can tell me you enjoyed Canelo versus Yildirim and Fielding and John Ryder and guys like Caleb Smith and stuff. And these guys all had chances and you were down to see Billy Joe Saunders and fights like that. You had no problem witnessing those and wasting our time with fights like that. But you don't want to see David Benavidez. You know, whether you think Benavidez has a shot or not, I mean, who cares? Anybody has an opinion. They say a-holes are like opinions. Everybody got one. So I'm not interested in a bunch of Canelo Chupapi Muñeño opinions on who would win. I want to see who would win when they fight. And then seeing is believing. Anybody can have an opinion and say, oh, Benavidez doesn't stand a chance. But if that is your argument, and this is why the Canelo man fans always lose to me, because what they're saying simply doesn't add up. If Benavidez is so flawed and he got exposed and he couldn't knock out Caleb Plant and all these excuses to not see the Canelo and Benavidez fight, if that was your true talking point, fine. But then those same people could not thereafter justify Canelo versus John Ryder. If we're going to pick apart fight, just at the bare bones minimum, Benavidez versus Canelo would be a bigger fight. You know, La Raza, you have two fighters who are bilingual, speak English, speak Spanish. None of these dynamics are applicable for Canelo versus John Ryder. So if Benavidez has no chance standing 6'2", 6'2.5", and putting on the performances he's been putting on, he told you, I hurt everybody that I've stepped in the ring with, which is true, right? Just like Tanks and the Wilders, they've hurt everybody that they fought. Some guys got that type of dynamite. So if you were okay with fights like Fielding, who was an absolute no-hoper, and guys like Yildirim coming off a 2-year layoff and a loss to Anthony Durrell, right? And you allowed those Canelo fights, then why wouldn't you allow Canelo Benavidez? Because you are scared. You are a scared, scary fan, and you know it's a dangerous fight, and you don't care about the greater good of boxing. You care about Canelo looking good and dispatching of people that we know he's going to dispatch of. That's what it boils down to. So for me, for what it's worth, we unpacked, coming to you live. Canelo versus Benavidez is truly the fight to make, not these deflection and distraction fights. I love David Morrell, love David Benavidez, love what they're doing, keep it up. But is that fight really seasoned for right now when David Morrell Jr., he has less than 10 fights and people don't really know of his brand? Hardcore fans like myself, of course, I know who David Morrell is. Stylistically, yes, it's a great fight. But the ready-made fight for boxing, for pay-per-view, for numbers, for the whole shebang is definitely Canelo Benavidez. But again, the Canelo Witsec, it continues. And you got the WBA trying to get in the way and pawn off David Benavidez and David Morrell so they can off each other, while Canelo is undisputed, holding all the belts hostage, and he gets to fight John Ryders and Yildrims and, Elton John, like a candle in the wind. And, he gets to fight whoever he wants. And we're supposed to just, he's done enough. He could just do whatever he wants. This is not the lineage of the great boxers from Mexico. Guys like Julio Cesar Chavez, he's fighting Oscar de la Hoya, his contemporary Mexican-American rival. He fought him twice. He's fighting guys like Costa Zoo. He didn't have to do that, but he's a legend in the game. That's why he did it. So Canelo don't get no passes. It is what it is. Canelo Benavidez or bust. If you want to settle for Ryder and Yildirim and Fielding and Saunders, and we can detour for those weak fights, then we can detour for Canelo versus Benavidez, who got the interim belt. He's his mandatory. No excuses. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Best in the business. And I'm out. Introducing Super Thanks. Right here on the official Boxingego YouTube. Super Thanks allows you, the viewers, to show a little bit of extra gratitude, which enables me as a full-time content creator to push out the content you need in the world of boxing. Underneath all the videos, you will see a heart with a $sign in it. You can enter any amount that you find suitable as a super thanks. A brand new, interactive, and colorful way to get your comments highlighted and noticed by not only myself, but other people on the YouTube platform. Super thanks, a unique and cool way to show and applaud us full-time content creators. Hopefully you guys enjoy the content. Super thanks. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We working.